Hey everybody, Matthew Morris, MM Wood Studio. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, and it's time for another shop update. Woo! Alright, we're here in the new shop, and it's looking really good. We've got drywall up, it's painted, there is machinery kind of coming into its final resting places, and I'm really excited. So let me bring you up to date. When we last left off, they had finished framing and doing the first part of the electrical, which is running all the wires. And then it was time for drywall, and boy, there was a lot of drywall. That's enormous. These guys brought them down, no problem whatsoever. And the next day, it was time to actually start doing the drywall. And boy, take a look at these guys. They're amazing. They got these stilts on, and two of them are just basically walking around, and they drywall this entire shop in one day. And then the next day, a whole different crew came in, and they did the taping and the mudding, and then they needed to let everything sit overnight so it hardened. And then the next day, they came back and they sanded the place down. And with all that done, the electrical guys came back and they finished up the rest of the electrical work, which was taking all the cables and putting ends on them. The first phase here is to get everything up and running, of course. So now that they're out of the shop, everything's done, it's time for me to start working, which is to paint and paint and paint. So I spent all day Sunday painting, and I pretty much only painted this room here. So far I've got this whole space right here painted, and two coats here, and then on the back wall over here I've got one coat started. There's a lot of space here, but I'm thinking that I'm going to do this in sections where I can get stuff up and done, put away, and then I can attack other spots. Some of this stuff should look very familiar over here. My multi-router, my sanding station, my mortiser, and my drum sander. And then behind me is my lathe, and then over in the corner is my router table. And as I put up in the plan, this section here is pretty much going to be all the tools, the smaller tools that I have. They're on wheels, and if I need to, they can get wheeled out here, and I can do the work here in the center. And then over here in this corner, I'm thinking I'm going to put the old dust collector up there so that I have dust collection for all the small tools here, and I get a new dust collector for the big tools. Now real quick before I show you the rest of the shop, up here I have lights. I bought 24 of these LEDs that hang on hooks for this shop. And I've got 4 up here and then 2 up temporarily over where the bench would be. And that would be right here. So I've got the lights in line with where the bench is going to be. So in this area, just like the rest of the shop, all the outlets are here just above counter height. And that's exactly where I want them. I want to be able to pull the machine out, very easily plug in and unplug. And that's all around, not just for the 110s, but all the 220s as well, except for one. And that would be this one right here. This 220 is on its own circuit, as well as this 110 over here. It's on its own circuit as well. So both of these are going to feed the table saw. So right now I just have a saw stop at contractor saw. It's 110 volt. That's for this. At some point I want another saw stop saw that's going to pull 220, probably the industrial, and that's 220 is for that down the road. I figured we're running electrical work. It's not going to cost me a whole bunch more right now. Let's plan for the future and put the 220 in. Of course, it can always go with 2 table saws, right? And then over here in this section of the shop, which is the back corner where the dust collector, the bandsaw, where the jointer would be, as you can see on the plans. This 220 here is for the bandsaw. It and the jointer 220 are both on the same circuit. There's a 220 back over here, and that's for the dust collector. It's for the future, maybe sooner than later. And there's 110 for dust collector as well. Again, I wasn't sure what to do. I haven't decided on what new machinery I'm going to buy for a dust collector. And now I just turn the camera a little bit. Over here is that 220 for the jointer I talked about. And then here is this extra wall we had framed out. This divides the shop from the rest of the basement area where like storage is going to be. And then we had to put a door in over here And the reason for that is eventually I want to put a bathroom down here, and the pump that will move all the waste is going to have to go in this area. And I just rotated the camera to show you guys the rest of this open area. So the table saw is going to be somewhere around here, which is just left of the camera. This air cleaner will get lifted. I just have it lower so I can paint easier. And then we had these double doors installed to divide my shop from Elizabeth's shop. Back here, it got drywalled. It too needs to get painted, and I'll get to that as well. And then these double doors is what separates the shop from the storage section of the basement. And this is where you come in. There's a light switch over here. Flick that on and all the lights will come on all at once, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it so far. There's a lot left to do, a ton of painting, a ton of unpacking, a ton of finishing. I gotta just get these windows trimmed out. I mean, just a lot of work, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get started again tomorrow. So that's pretty much it for this update. As always, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit the like button, share in your timeline, and head over to the MM Woodfield page and like us there as well. And as always, have a great week in your shop.